system on your house, and in this case that is a rain barrel. And we'll go through how to choose a site, how to create a base for your barrel to sit on, how to decide the orientation for your barrel, and then actually how to install a kit onto a plastic drum to make your rain barrel work, so you can use it to water your plants or your lawn and just reuse the water that's freely available. I want to talk about the kit that we're going to use to create our rain barrel today. Here it is already finished, and I want to show you why I like this kit. So this creates a closed system rain barrel. You don't have to cut your gutter to install this rain barrel. You actually are just going to drill a hole into your gutter and insert this hose. And you don't have to cut a hole in the top of this rain barrel. You just drill a hole in the side and it's a very tight seal. So there's no chance of mosquitoes getting into this rain barrel. It really helps to eliminate a lot of the debris that you'll have that gets into the rain barrel. And these kits are from the rainbarreldepot.com. The Conservation District here in Jefferson County gets these at a discounted rate, which we can offer to you all. So we have been using these rain barrels kits for about 3 years now, and we really like these kits for that closed system that they create and the affordability that they allow for you all to be able to install a rain barrel in your home. Okay, so let's think about where is a good site for your rain barrel. So the first thing you want to choose is a spot where you have a downspout. Downspout is the part of the gutter that comes out of the top of the gutter that runs along your roof line. And you want to choose an area where there's a downspout and there's space around it so that you can place your barrel close enough to it within about 2 feet. Other things to consider for a site location are going to be areas where you might not have easy access to water. So today I'm going to install this rain barrel on my garage downspout because the closest water hydrant or faucet that I have to this part of my yard is about 40 feet that direction. So this will really cut down on the amount of hoses I have to drag around my yard by having a rain barrel right here that I can use to water these plants. Other things to think about, you want to be able to set up your rain barrel in a space that is level. These rain barrels can weigh over 400 pounds when they're full of water, so you want an area where the rain barrel can sit level, there's no chance that it can tip over and fall and hurt someone. I've chosen this corner of my garage obviously because there is a downspout, but I also wanted to go through a couple reasons why I've decided to set my base for my rain barrel over here on this side of the garage. So my downspout is here, and I want to stay within about 2 feet of the downspout for where my barrel is going to be located. And I've decided on this side because I have this large oak leaf hydrangea that's just going to get bigger, and it's going to eventually cause, a challenge if I wanted to set the rain barrel here to be able to get to access it. So I've decided to put it on this side because I've got some short plants here that I can easily walk over to be able to turn the water spout out. Now, I built my base out of some concrete blocks, which are really inexpensive, maybe $2 to $2.50 each. And you can use, what I've done is I've stacked 2 concrete blocks next to each other and then put 2 more on top. With your rain barrel, you're using gravity to push the water out. And you need at least 2 feet of height in order to get, or for every 2 feet of a height you have, you get 1 psi of pressure. So my goal was to get as close to 2 feet high as I could by using these concrete blocks. It's about 20 inches tall with them here. And so that way, when I turn on the faucet and I have my hose attached, I'll be able to fill up a bucket or lightly water some plants. Now 1 psi of pressure is not enough to really forcibly push water out, so you're not going to be able to turn on attach a sprinkler to your rain barrel or a hose that's going to spray like a jet force of water out. But you will be able to fill up a bucket, you will be able to fill up a watering can, you will be able to attach a hose and lightly water your plants in your lawn with it nearby the rain barrel. Now the rain barrel kit that we are using comes with a place to put a spigot, or a gasket and a spigot for the bottom of your barrel so that you can open the spigot and get water to come out. And it also comes with a hose that's going to connect from the top of the barrel to your downspout. So the next thing to do is set your barrel on top of your level, on top of your base once you have it level. And then you need to decide where you want your spigot hole to be and where you want the hole to be where the hose is going to connect to the downspout. I'd recommend having a marker available so you can mark those spaces, and then I will show you how to actually drill those holes and insert the pieces. So the first one I want to do is my spigot hole. And I've decided that I'm going to put my spigot on this side of the barrel because this is where I have those lower plants and I'll be able to walk over and access the spigot pretty easily. Now, on the directions that come with this specific kit that we use, it tells you to put your spigot hole about 10 inches from the bottom of the barrel. And I believe they do that so that if your barrel is sitting on the ground, you can get a bucket underneath it. However, I would not recommend putting your spigot hole 10 inches above because the water that sits below that hole, you're not going to be able to use. So if you're setting your barrel up on a base and you have the ability, to lift it up 2 feet off the ground, I would recommend putting your hole just about 3 inches from the bottom so that you can use as much water as possible. So I'm going to go down here on the bottom of my barrel and I'm going to make a mark where I know I want my spigot. So about 3 inches from the bottom, I'm just going to put an X. And the next mark I want to make is for the hole that I'm going to drill for the hose that'll attach to the downspout. Now I have a pretty easy connection here because this barrel is able to get really close to my downspout. If I had something that was blocking the way and I needed the hose to maybe come out of this side and come around, I'm able to do that. The hose that comes with this kit can extend up to 3 feet. And so but since I'm very close to the downspout, I'm going to go ahead and I want to mark my hole as close to the downspout as possible. So if you're using one of these plastic food grade barrels, you're going to notice that there's like a curve on the barrel and then it'll start to flatten out. And you want to drill your hole on the top where it starts to flatten out so that it's flush and the gasket can have a tight seal. So I'm going to come down after that lip about right here and I'm going to put my X right here because that's where I want to drill for my hose. Okay, so in your kit are the hole saws that you need in order to drill the holes for your rain barrel. I went ahead and pulled out the smallest hole saw and the actual bit that we're gonna put the hole saw on because this smallest one, which is 1 1/4 inch, is for the gasket for your spigot that goes in the bottom of your barrel. And I want to show you how to put this on your drill bit if you're not familiar with using this because it can be a little bit tricky. So there's a nut that you want to take off and then you'll notice on the hole saw that there's a flat side here and a curved side. And the same thing goes for this drill bit. You've got a flat side and a curved side. So you want to put the hole saw on so that the serrated part is facing down towards the tip of the bit. And then you're going to screw the nut back on and you want to make sure that the nut there's kind of a cup part here before you get to the thread. You want to make sure that that is facing towards the bit because it's actually going to go around it and secure it so it doesn't move while you're drilling. So you can test it by just, wiggling it. If it's loose, you know that you put it on backwards. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put this bit into my drill. And we're going to go ahead and drill this first hole. So I put it right in the middle of the X, my drill bit, and I'm going to go slowly. Oh, those are going to fall off. Slowly. All right. So I don't know if you heard, but the plastic piece fell inside my rain barrel. So I'm going to try to get that out before I finish hooking this up, or else it can clog the hose. And you want to try to get all these little plastic bits out too. So what you can do after you finish drilling the second hole is you can take the caps off the top, take those little plastic bits out and actually run some water through here so that you get those plastic pieces out. Alright, so in your kit you have 2 different gaskets that are just small and circular like this one. one of them has a teardrop shape. So you want to grab this one. This is the gasket that you're going to use for your spigot hole or your faucet hole. And in order to get this to go inside that hole we just drilled, the best thing to do is to try to bend one side in. This works well if you stick the gasket out in the sun. So you're going to bend this side in like this. Grip it with your hand, and then you're going to put it into the hole. Just takes a minute, be patient. All right, now you've got it in, you want to pop that part back out. This is the spigot that comes in your kit, and you're going to go ahead and actually screw this into that gasket you just put in the hole for your spigot. If I could change one thing about this kit, it would be that this would be metal. I think it would last, it would be just like a better value. I do know that there are rain barrels that we've installed with these plastic spigots and they've lasted for a couple years, so that's great. You can always swap this out if you want to go to a hardware store and actually purchase a metal spigot. It will also work with this kit. So the orientation for attaching the spigot is that there's one piece that has a threaded part and it comes out perpendicular, and another piece that comes out diagonal. And the diagonal part is the part that you're going to screw into your gasket. You'll even see that this has more threads here on this side and it lines up with your gasket better. And it's a little bit tricky, you just have to make sure it's really straight up and down and just go slowly while you're screwing it in. All right, so now we've got our spigot on. Our next step is to drill the hole at the top of the rain barrel, or the top of our barrel, that's going to have the hose that connects to the downspout. So we're going to switch out our hole saw to the middle size, and we're going to get our other gasket, our small ringed gasket, and that's the one that's going to go in that hole. So I'm going to go ahead and open this back up and pull out my middle size hole saw and just quickly switch it out. Remember to make sure it locks in place. And then put it back in our drill. All right, so if you remember, we want to make sure that the hole that we're drilling here at the top is clear of this lip right here that curves in, and then you get kind of some other bumps. You might have a different food grade plastic barrel that you are building your rain barrel with, but most of them all have some sort of lip at the top, so you want to stay clear of that. So I'm going to drill my hole right beneath that. So let me just turn it so y'all can see where the X is. And I'm going to go ahead and put the drill bit right here in the middle, and then just drill my hole. All right, so I was able to hold on to the plastic on that one, which is great, so I don't have to dig that one out later. Set my drill down. I'm going to go ahead and pull these plastic bits off so they don't get in the way of this gasket having a tight seal on my barrel. Put this in my pocket, throw that away. And then you're going to do the same trick with the gasket that you did with the other one. You're going to fold it in. This one's easier to fold. And you're just going to pop it into your barrel. I got a little honeybee that's very interested in my gasket. Just like that. All right, so now we're going to actually put the hose in so that we can measure the spot for the downspout. Okay, so we're inserting the hose now. I'm just going to go ahead and push it into this gasket. I want to get it all the way in. I like to push this on before I stand it up because I think it's easier to get it into the hole when you've got the rain barrel laying down. This hose makes a really tight seal and it can be really tough if you try to do it while the rain barrel is standing on its side. Alright, it's about halfway in and it's very snug. So now we'll stand it up and go measure where we're going to drill into the downspout. This is the last gasket you will need for installing your rain barrel. This is my favorite part of the rain barrel kits that we have, and this is what makes them a closed loop system. So this entire part of the gasket goes inside your downspout, and when it's the rainy season and your barrel is empty, the water will come down and it will actually get caught in this lip, and it will funnel through this hole through the hose into your rain barrel that direction. If your rain barrel is full, the water will actually just flow through this bottom. Some will get caught in this lip, but the pressure from the rain barrel being full will stop the water from actually going to the barrel, and it'll just continue down your downspout and come out at the bottom like it normally would if you didn't have a rain barrel attached. Then when it's the winter time and it's no longer time to collect water for your rain barrel, you actually just unscrew the gasket, and I'll show you where the screws are going to go, and you just turn it over. So you don't have to pull your rain barrel off the gutter and leave a big hole in your gutter. You can leave the gasket in, and the water, if it rains during the winter, when it rains, because it will just go straight down and will not go into your barrel. And that way you won't get water that collects in your barrel, freezes, and cracks your barrel and causes more problems. So now we're on to the last step of setting up your rain barrel. And we are going to drill the hole into your gutter that you're going to put your last gasket into. Before I drill that hole, I went ahead and measured where I want to actually place it. So if you look at the relationship between your rain barrel and your downspout, you'll see that if I was to make the hole directly horizontal in line with this hose, it would be about right here. But I actually want it to be in line with the lip of the rain barrel, up a little bit higher, so that you're going to get a little bit of gravity to feed the water into this hose. What you don't want to do is put your hole lower than the hose spout, or the hole that the hose goes into the barrel, because then the water is not going to make its way, it's not going to have enough pressure to get up into the barrel that way. So I used this level and held it over from the lip of my rain barrel to my downspout and checked the level line and made a mark here, and that's going to be the top of the hole saw and where I'm going to put my hole. Before I do that, I actually like to take a little piece of hosiery that I've cut off and I put it on the hose, and I'm actually going to go ahead and attach this gasket because it is, again, very difficult once I get this gasket in to push this hose into that hole, because this hose is like an accordion hose, and when you start to push this way, all you're doing is just pulling the hose out like this. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the hose into the gasket before we drill this hole. I wrapped this hosiery around the hole on the hose, and then I'm going to go ahead and push, and I'm going to put the gasket so that it's this cup side is facing up, because I'm going to be actively collecting water right now. Alright. And you'll notice that I now have protective gear over my eyes. We're going to go ahead and drill this hole. This is a metal gutter. And as I drill, there's going to be sparks that are going to fly. So you want to wear protective gear, and you want to stand back from that gutter as far as you can to just keep yourself safe. And for this hole, you're going to use the largest hole, so I went ahead and put it on. This is the one that fits the hole so that you can fit this big chunk of the gasket inside your downspout. Another thing to know is that this kit works with downspouts that are 2 inches by 3 inches or 3 inches by 4 inches. When you're putting this gasket in on a 2 by 3 inch downspout, you want to make sure that you're drilling into the 3-inch side, and that's where you're putting your hole. When you're putting this into a 3 by 4 inch downspout, you want to go on the 3-inch side again. The gasket won't go all the way flush to the other side in that case, but it will collect a good amount of the water that's coming down the downspout. Alright, so I drilled the hole, and I wanted to just mention that if you are using a drill that has speed settings, I would place it on the lowest speed setting and just go slow. You just want to slowly get this drill approaching your gutter, and then it should get through there pretty quick. If you have any really jagged edges that are left over after you've drilled a hole, you can take a file and file those down if they're really sticking out, because you do want to have a smooth hole for the gasket. So now we can go ahead and put this gasket in, and it helps to just squeeze the sides in. And watch your fingers, because you don't want to get them cut on that metal. And voila, you have your gasket installed. Now the last piece, you want to make sure that you get it all the way in. I just realized that I didn't have the bottom pushed in, so make sure you've got it all the way in and it's flush with your gutter. These screws are self-tapping screws, so you don't have to drill a hole first, but you can drill a hole first, which will just get, make sure that it's very accurate. I'm going to go ahead and just put them in. Oh. Alright, and then our last step for installing our rain barrel is to put our "Do Not Drink the Water" sticker on this rain barrel. And that's all you need to do. It's going to rain this weekend, so this barrel should get filled up, and I'll be able to use it to water my garden next week.